focus on the truth and reconciliation.
K News, K News, K News, K News.
From the witness testimony today, I know I'm innocent. A police officer who goes to the barber 7 different times, testifying lies, taking a car.
It's senseless. No video evidence. No, wait until after the judgment.
You don't have evidence to tell the protocol? Then you call the poll. Oh yeah, you know, I listen to Chamberlain, the jack kept the poll while I do 5 o'clock. Why you keeping the poll there for? You listen.
They call me to talk to the superintendent, the representative, where they will say they will do they want it, do they want to do that one. Then they try and see about the road condition. Now my market in the bush, all of my black bone,
Where you say?
Blessing, good morning from Painesville, outside the nation capital Monrovia, and welcome to K News. As says, K News is a 45 minutes presentation of news about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of our one world. My name is Benjamin Gabriel Kaber. On today's Thursday, August 7, 2025 edition of the news. We take a short break. When we return, we'll bring you the full package of the news. Welcome back to the news. We take our first development here. We're following receipt of the progress report of the Multi-Sectoral Steering Committee on Drugs and Substance Abuse. President Joseph Imam Boakar Sr. has issued a special presidential statement announcing an aggressive multi-pronged national anti-drugs action plan in response to the alarming surge of drugs abuse and trafficking across the country. He described the proliferation of drugs as an attack on the future of Liberia and affirms his unwavering commitment to safeguarding Liberia's youth communities and future generation from the surge of substance abuse. Liberia's ambassador to Nigeria and ECOWAS Parliament Representative John Ballard is calling for the creation of a regional ECOWAS drugs enforcement agency to address the escalating threat of drugs trafficking and substance abuse across West Africa. The call was made during the official launch of the ECOWAS campaign Say No to Drugs, Yes to Mental Health in Monrovia. Ambassador Ballard emphasized that drugs abuse has reached crisis level in the region and requires a coordinated response to that no single country can manage alone. He proposed the formation of a specialized agency under ECOWAS that would not only focus on enforcement but also prioritize prevention, rehabilitation, and the reintegration of affected individuals into society. The diplomat described the current drugs crisis as a regional emergency on the scale of previous health and security threats, including the Ebola outbreak, COVID-19 pandemic, and the HIV or AIDS epidemic. He warned that the region risks being overwhelmed if it fails to act swiftly. Ambassador Ballard stressed that addressing the crisis requires targeting drugs network and suppliers while also investing in national drugs enforcement bodies like the Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency. He added that more support is needed for community-based programs that protect and empower young people. He committed to fostering deeper collaboration among ECOWAS member states to bridge the gap between countries with strong enforcement capabilities and those struggling with limited resources. Ballard, who recently assumed his role as Liberia's ambassador to Nigeria and ECOWAS Parliament representative, expressed his intention to serve as an active voice for Liberia and the region at large, promoting policies that prioritize the well-being of West African youth. He commended ongoing ECOWAS efforts, applauding regional leaders who are pushing for solutions and highlighting the leadership of Liberian Senator Edwin Melvin Snow in regional affairs. The campaign launch served as a platform for leaders, policymakers, and development partners to reaffirm their commitment to confronting drugs-related issues while elevating conversation around mental health support in West Africa. The ECOWAS initiative aims to mobilize public awareness, strengthen regional coordination, and accelerate the development of sustainable frameworks to combat drugs abuse and promote a healthier, safer future for all member states. The Joint Committee on Concession Compliance and Review at the 55th Legislature has disclosed that Human-Grade Liberia Limited has acknowledged its financial obligation to the government of Liberia. During the Tuesday, August 5, 2025 public hearing, the committee revealed that the company's chief executive officer and administrative finance manager, Mr. Bright Ritchie, and Klaus Massaquoi admitted to owing the government approximately US $2.4 million. However, Liberia Revenue Authority has placed the company's total arrears for the government at an amount of US $3.4 million. The public hearing is part of the legislature broader mandate to review dormant and underperforming concession agreement to ensure compliance, transparency, and delivery of benefits to affected communities. The company acknowledged marks a significant step in reconciling long-standing financial obligations, said Representative for the Family, chair of the Joint Committee. Representative Family added that there is now mutual recognition of arrears, though with differing figures, which gives the path toward resolution. The Bon County District 7 lawmaker added that the committee is optimistic with continued engagement and enforcement. The matters will be concluded in the shortest possible time.
There have been a consistent, less effort placed in reviewing and ensuring that there is proper compliance with those laws that have been passed. As such, the House of Representatives, through the Speaker in plenary, set up a joint committee to do full compliance review of all concessions. And there have been a consistent, less effort placed in reviewing and ensuring that there is proper compliance with those laws that have been passed. As such, the House of Representatives, through the Speaker in plenary, set up a joint committee to do full compliance review of all concessions. And that process is ongoing. As I speak to you, there are few concessions that have been invited. And those concessions, we are looking out for tax obligations, social contribution that they should do, basic obligations that are enshrined in the concession contract. So it is from that backdrop we are consistently following up on the compliance. Aspect of it is the issue of Hummingbird. Hummingbird has been one of those dormant concession contracts that has been signed, no active work been going on. So we wanted to know also where they are as a concession in terms of compliance, what is the benefit thereto, and what is it that they are putting in motion for the citizens to benefit in some and other counties in the Southeast. Taking that into consideration, they have acknowledged from the LRA standpoint, there's an outstanding arrears of 3.4 million. From the Hammerberg standpoint, they are acknowledging that they owe government something in the tune of 2.4 million. So at least we're getting somewhere. And I feel strongly within the next 60 days, we can be able to complete the issues on Hammerberg and they can make payment to the government cover. That was not a payment that we're expecting, but based on the fact that we're willing to put our feet on the ground, that payment will be done in the shortest.
His Bond County District 7 representative for the Fambode Criminal Court A. George Roosevelt Zayawili has approved a $500,000 property surety bond for the release of 6 individuals accused in the high-profile Capitol building arson case. The decision paved the way for the defendant's release on bail effective August 7, 2025. The 6 defendants, Christian Kofa, John Yanti, Eric Suse, Thomas Isaac Etheridge, Stephen Bro, and Gabriel Francia, face multiple serious charges linked to the alleged arson attack at Liberia's Capitol building earlier this year. The charges include arson, criminal mischief, criminal conspiracy, criminal solicitation, attempted murder, aggravated assault, and illegal possession of firearms. Authorities consider the case one of the most severe attacks on a national institution in recent years. The $500,000 property bond was posted by sureties Randolph J. Cole and Rufina J. Cole, who have pledged their personal asset to ensure that the defendant appeared in court throughout the proceeding. Should any of the accused abscond or fail to comply with court mandate, the surety will forfeit the bond amount. The court approval of bail marks a critical moment in the ongoing case, which continues to attract public interest due to its political sensitivity and implication for national security. Court officials says the property bond satisfies all legal requirements under Liberian law, granting the defendant temporary release while the case advances toward trial. The next court hearing has been scheduled as part of the August term of court, during which trial proceedings are expected to formally commence. Legal observers are closely watching the case, which could set precedent for how similar acts involving national symbols and infrastructures are prosecuted in the future. The government has yet to disclose the full investigative details behind the arson investigation, but security sources confirm that additional evidence will be presented during the upcoming court session. The Civil Servant Association of Liberia has announced its support for the planned peaceful demonstration against illicit drugs in Monrovia on today, August 7. The association's president, Moeba Johnson, described drugs abuse as a growing threat to national security and the well-being of future generations. Speaking at a press conference in Monrovia, Mr. Johnson urged all citizens that civil servants to dedicate their spare time to participate in the demonstration and show solidarity in the fight against the national menace. He further called on the government to increase budgetary support for the Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency, noting that drug laws are well funded and pose a serious challenge to enforcement efforts.
To be honest with you, we are in full support. As a matter of fact, it should be on the record that as the leadership of the Civil Servants Association of Liberia, we are in full support of our mothers that will be getting on the street on Thursday, August the 7th, to protest against illicit drug or drug abuse. We are in full support, that we are with them, and we call all civil servants across the length and breadth of the Republic of Liberia to fully support, to lend their support to our mothers as we march against the use of illicit drugs in our country. Since the advent of the Civil War, Liberia has been battered by illicit drugs. Our young brothers and sisters almost every day are being recruited into the drug usage in our country. Now it is posing severe security risks, not only to the government itself, but the citizenry as a whole. Because as we speak now, across the country, throughout the 15 counties, you have illicit drug users all over the counties and almost all over the districts. So, in all districts. And so it has become a national security concern. On the basis of this, we are in full support of our mothers, our sisters that will be getting into the streets to demonstrate against the use of illicit drugs across our country. There should be non-bailable offense when it comes to drug peddlers. Those that are bringing the drugs in our country, we want stringent measures to be taken against them. When people are arrested, they should be incarcerated and be sent to court. Besides that, government should also provide maximum support to the Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency, because our fear is that if the LDEA is not fully supported, I'm afraid compromises will take place. Those that are bringing the drugs, they are millionaires. If not, they are wealthy people. Drugs have made them wealthy. So drugs have the ability to fight back. Those are fighting drugs in our country. If they are not properly equipped and if they are not properly supported, then of course the fight against drug illicit drug abuse in our country will be defeated.
He is Moebai Johnson, the president of the Civil Servant Association of Liberia. The Liberian National Police has arrested an armed man who attempted to rob the EcoBank branch on 11th Street in Cinco in broad daylight at about 10:45 a.m. on Wednesday, August 6, 2025. According to Officer Van Khan, a security guard, the suspect, Emery Johnson, entered the bank pretending to be a customer before launching an attack on one of the tellers. Eyewitnesses said the man brandished a handgun during the incident, creating panic among staff and customers. Speaking to reporters shortly after the incident, a bank teller and one of the survivors of the attempted robbery recounted the terrifying moment the suspect approached her counter under the guise of a transaction. Security guard confirmed that no injuries were reported and no money or property was taken during the incident. The bank's alarm system and swift police response were credited for averting what could have been a tragic situation. The suspect, Emery Johnson, was immediately taken into custody and is currently undergoing interrogating action at the Liberia National Police headquarters. EcoBank officials have since restored operation and reassured customers of their safety and the integrity of their security system. The Liberia National Police says an investigation is ongoing. EcoBank Liberia has reported an attempted armed robbery at its head office branch on 11th Street, Cinco, specifically with the private banking lounge. The incident took place on August 6, 2025 and involved a single-armed individual who targeted a teller during the operation. The bank described the incident as unfortunate and assured the public that it is working closely with local law enforcement authorities to ensure a thorough investigation into the matter. Following the attempted robbery, EcoBank moved swiftly to enhance its security measure across all branches nationwide to prevent any reoccurrence and to maintain customer safety. Although the bank did not confirm whether the attempted robbery resulted in any losses, normal operations have continued without disruption at all branches and through its digital banking platform. The management acknowledged that the incident may raise concern among customers regarding security at financial institutions. However, it emphasized that robust system and protocols remain in place to safeguard customers' funds and confidential data. Security at Ecobank branches has since been reinforced with internal measures reviewed and adjusted to meet emerging threats within the banking environment. The attempted robbery did not cause any operational downtime, and services at the private banking launch and other facilities resumed immediately following the event. Ecobank has urged customers to remain calm and continue using its banking services with confidence as it takes all necessary steps to protect their financial interests. The bank has also opened a communication line through its marketing and corporate communication unit at the corporate branch on Ashmore Street for any customers require that inquiries or concerns related to the incident. Ecobank Liberians remain committed to the safety of its customers. The youth wing of the opposition Alternative National Congress (ANC) has described as unfortunate the recent incident in which a woman gave birth in the yard of the John F. Kennedy Memorial Hospital. Speaking at a press conference, ANC Youth Secretary General Aliu Kedi said the situation is deeply troubling and unacceptable in a country that is part of the 21st century. He noted that the incident has sparked outrage among women across the country and called on JFK to immediately reverse what he referred to as a deadly policy. According to Kedi, pregnancy is a medical emergency and no woman should be turned away from receiving care simply because she cannot afford the required delivery fees. He commended follow a controversial memo recently issued by the John F. Kennedy Memorial Hospital announcing an increase in the cost of delivery services, a move the ANC Youth Wing strongly opposes.
That we cannot pretend to ignore them until the end of the month. Recently, we witnessed a sad situation in our country. A scene that people shouldn't see. A scene that our country should be ashamed of. A pregnant woman giving birth on the street of JFK. That is an unfortunate situation. That shouldn't be happening in our country. A country that should be part of the 21st century. A country that says we have leadership. A country that purports to have a president of 42 years of government experience. That shouldn't be happening. That is an unfortunate situation. Our parents are angry. Women across this country are angry. That is belittling. It is an unfortunate situation, like we say. And therefore, we call on the JFK to desist from instituting, should desist from operating, and should desist from carrying out such a draconian regulation. Yes. Pregnancy is an emergency situation. Most pregnant women in this country, after 9 months, you do not know when you give birth. So it is an emergency situation that our people should not be turned away because they don't have 65 USD to deposit in JFK covers before they can be attended to. The next time such a thing happens, we will not only vibrate the system, we will get on the street and demand a total overhaul of the JFK facility. Such a thing should not be happening. We thought at the age of the president, he would have gone for historical glory and honor, but unfortunately, the president has endeavored to live in luxury and vulgarities.
At the same time, Secretary General Katie slammed Daniel Sandel of the Ministry of Information and Information Minister Charlemagne Matthew Pierre for, in his words, ignoring the real problems affecting ordinary Liberians and focusing instead on political propaganda.
About those numbers. Instead, you come and play politics. Look, nobody plays politics with real issues. If the people are hungry, there's no amount of propaganda that Daniel Sandel and the Information Minister Jeremy Pierre can put out there to suggest that the people's stomachs are filled. When a hungry man is hungry, there's no propaganda that can suggest that the man's stomach is filled. Because these are realities. These are realities. When Patrick Honda generator makes over 3,000 USD and he goes to birthday parties and throw about money, these are real issues in the country that Daniel Sandel and the next should be concerned about.
He's Aliyu Kili, the youth wing of the Alternative National Congress Secretary General. The Grand Bassa County headquarters of the Congress for Democratic Change (CDC), Liberia's former ruling party, reportedly finding it difficult to settle unpaid rent after nearly 2 years. The property owner has officially reclaimed the compound, citing the CDC Bassa chapter's prolonged failure to meet rental obligation. The party has now been evicted and the once active political office stands empty. In a cleared message to the public, a for-a-rent sign has been placed at the site, with the landlord now offering the property to new tenants. The compound is now up for lease, and interested parties are encouraged to contact the number listed on its symbol. The executive director of the Consumers' Rights Movement, Isaac Ross, is urging all Liberians to join the nationwide Say No to Drugs March schedule for today, August 7, and avoid politicizing the event. Ross stressed that tackling the scourge of drugs abuse requires collective action from all citizens, not mere criticism from the sidelines. He said that while everyone has a right to participate in the march, it is equally important for people to understand the purpose of the demonstration. According to him, confronting drugs abuse in Liberia means more than speaking out. It is also involved bringing forward children, relatives, or community members struggling with substance abuse to highlight the dangers and consequences of such a lifestyle. Ross further called on citizens to work alongside the government in establishing a regulatory framework to curb drugs consumption. While acknowledging that completely eradicating drugs may not be possible, he emphasized that decisive action can significantly reduce their prevalence in the country.
As a owner of the consumer right, I really love that everybody have the right to consume, right? And everyone will consume. What is true that you are coming on to march peacefully and asking your government to do this. The first thing, the question is there, have you asked yourself, what do we expect the government to do in this level that we're all consuming drugs in this country? That means you got a child in your house that's abusing alcohol, that is abusing drugs, and it's your child. And you protect the child in your house. You get them food, you get them shelter, everything is your child. So are you bringing your child out tomorrow to say, yeah, my son is a drugs addict, yeah, my child is an alcoholic in the community? Or you just pushing the government to the wall?
Do you believe that illicit drug can be eradicated in Liberia?
Obviously, illicit drugs cannot be eradicated because all over the world, you cannot eradicate illicit drug. America got number one, the higher in the world. What about all? But the process of how do you deal with it, how do you regulate it is what we need to be discussing.
So do you mind giving out some recommendations to government on how to at least minimize illicit drugs in Liberia?
Of course, I don't need to push government to the wall, but first of all, I need to say that how can we as Liberians call our government attention to say, look, government, this thing we all have understand now is going beyond. How can we sit on round table discussion in various communities and discuss the way up? Look, I will talk to you now on the radio. I got a child who is alcoholic.
So how's the feeling like seeing a child being an alcoholic? How does it feel? How do you cope with that?
It's so painstaking that we all need to understand these things from a diverse background and say, how do we push government to the wall? Because we see it in our home. It starts from our home. And it's a burden to us. We don't want it. We don't raise our...
He's Isaac Ross, the Executive Director of the Consumers' Rights Movement. Workers at the Liberia Repatriation Resettlement Commission LCCC site in Swakoko District, Bon County are calling just getting ready to protest because they haven't been paid. The aggrieved workers said they are frustrated and tired of waiting for money they are owed. These workers were key in helping people who had been displaced from the Bujumbura camp in Ghana. They claim they haven't gotten any pay since July 2024, even though their contracts were supposed to last until December of that year. Joseph D. Colley, who is a contractor for LCCC and also speaking for the unpaid workers, talked about their situation in an interview on August 6, 2025 in Bangor. He stated that they were asked to help people who were struggling, but now they are the ones who need help. He added that after the previous LCCC boss Patrick Wozi was suspended, the new leader director Joseph Boy Cooper and Deputy Jackson J. Pay haven't done anything to pay them what they are owed. Colley was especially criticized that's critical of Deputy Pay, claiming he doesn't care about the workers' problem. The aggrieved workers had told a story about how the deputy director didn't seem to care when one of the workers died and instead was seeking and asking about a warehouse. It's like they are being treated like they don't care about their matters.
For the first time, we are having a stakeholder meeting to decide.
We are sorry for the disruption. The Liberia Agriculture Commodity Regulatory Authority has ended a one-day deliberation aimed at validating the prices of cocoa and coffee on the local and international market. Speaking during the opening ceremony, local Director General Dan Saye said the decision is aligned with the arrest agenda of President Joseph Yuma Boakai. According to Saye, farmers and exporters so that the farmers will be able to live like middle-class business person and benefit from the basic social services. The LACA Director General stressed the need to stabilize the prices of cocoa and coffee so that they can benefit like partners in West African region.
Price our cocoa should go for in Monrovia, what price they should go for in River G. For the first time, we are having a stakeholder meeting to decide what price our cocoa should go for in Monrovia, what price they should go for in River G, what price the farmers sitting down in Lofa, in Varon, in every part of this country will buy a cocoa for a price that will be deemed fair for every actor. A system that will be deemed fair to local buyers who will buy and honor our system and structure that will receive a commission because he has been able to go in the bush to buy cocoa. We are here this morning to set history in place and to make sure that we set the pace for President Joseph Newman Boakai visions about transforming agriculture, about making sure that farmers don't continue to farm and live in huts, but they must have the fair share of the work they do in their garden, on their farms. This is historic. It's historic because we believe 60% of you who sit around here, your parents brought you up through farming. Because we believe It is through agriculture that over 60% of our farmers are employed. This government, the vision number one is to set that stage. We are here to make sure that we become the operatives in the field, to create that enabling environment, to make sure that our farmers are served and given the opportunity, so that tomorrow our children can have a better enabling environment for improved education system, for improved healthcare system, for better rural conditions, and to live better for themselves and for their children. We are here in this business because we want to make sure that agriculture remains a success story. We believe you're going to work with us to do many other things that are behind the scene that we are unleashing. This is just the beginning of some of the things that we plan to do. We are now also organizing ourselves to make sure that we do farmers mapping. And when we get done and get started with farmers mapping, we provide incredible data to our development partners, to our government. Farmers will be profiled, the sex of those farmers, their farm location, the GPS coordinate, and everything that is required to make sure that farmers can be located everywhere, to make sure that questions of traceability, which seem to be haunting Liberian cocoa, particularly from the southeast down, will be addressed. We will make sure that smuggling.
Liberia is hosting the West Africa Logistics Conference, which focuses on strengthening regional security and improving military logistics across West African states. The conference aims to enhance defense practices, foster collaboration, boost readiness through innovation, and strengthen solidarity among regional militaries. Speaking at the opening of the conference, Defense Minister Geraldine George emphasized the importance of partnership, preparedness, and shared expertise among ECOWAS member states and African partners. Minister Geraldine George highlighted logistics as the backbone of effective military operation in addressing transitional threats and humanitarian cases. The Defense Board thanked African partners for their ongoing support in training resources and technical assistance, which have significantly contributed to the regional security. She called on delegates to work together with unity, innovation, and mutual respect to ensure a stable and secure West Africa.
This gathering underscores our collective commitment to strengthening regional security, enhancing interoperability, and optimizing logistic capabilities across our arms. In an era of evolving security challenges, from transnational threats to humanitarian crises, logistics remains the backbone of effective military operations. Liberia as a nation has experienced the transformation power of peacekeeping and security sector reform. Deeply appreciate the value of partnership, preparedness, and shared expertise. The presence of our ECOWAS brothers and sisters alongside our valued partners from Africa reaffirms our shared vision of a stable, secure, and prosperous West Africa. The conference presents an invaluable opportunity to enhance the practice in defense logistics and supply chain management, foster collaborations to address common security challenges, innovation, and mutual respect. Liberia is proud, and we are confident that the outcome will significantly advance our shared security objectives. Welcome to Liberia. May our discussion be fruitful, and may we leave here with renewed vigor to serve our nation and our region.
For his part, U.S. Judge d'Affaires Joseph Zajoni described the ongoing logistics conference in Liberia as a pivotal movement in advancing security operation and strengthening logistic network across Africa. Speaking on behalf of AFRICOM, Zajoni emphasized that the conference marks a major milestone as the U.S. Africa Command prepares to transition from a regionally focused logistic approach to a continent-wide initiative by 2026. He highlighted the theater logistics readiness program as a key element of the transition, noting that the conference serves as a feedback loop to improve the program and build stronger partnership. Sajosny also stressed the importance of building African logistics leadership, fostering a professional logistics cadre, and advancing AFRICOM 31 concept assessment advice, advocate, and integrate. He also welcomed private sector participation, underscoring the value of integrating U.S. industry into future initiatives.
It's an honor to join you here today at the opening of the West Africa Logistics Conference 2025 here in Liberia. This gathering represents a critical milestone in our shared commitment, fostering regional stability, enhancing security, and building the foundations for sustainable economic growth across West Africa. On behalf of the United States State Department, I want to express our unwavering support for this initiative, which aligns closely with our current administration's objectives of strengthening our security partnership with African nations through regional coordination and defense interoperability. We are enthusiastic to have several U.S. industry leaders in attendance to promote these goals through offering a range of top quality equipment and services. U.S.-Africa commercial diplomacy is, more than ever, a vital component of U.S. foreign policy. It will go a long way towards advancing mutual prosperity and shared security. We want to be your partners of choice, and to do so, we must be present and continue to offer the best. As I prepared for this conference over the weekend, I quickly realized that this conference is more than just a meeting of minds. It's a platform for action. Stakes are high. The Gulf of Guinea and the vast territories such as the Sahel are regions that are critical to our shared national security supply chains, and they face growing challenges, including destabilizing influences from external state and non-state actors. By building stronger regional networks of like-minded nations that are committed to peace and stability, we will be best positioned to counter these threats and ensure the region is secure and prosperous with expanded operations. We will be in the best position to counter these threats and ensure the region is a secure and prosperous continent with expanded opportunity. I want to commend AFRICOM for their leadership in organizing this conference and for their dedication to strengthening partnership across West Africa. To our African partners, our commitment to this shared vision inspires us all. And to U.S. industry, we welcome your participation and your keen interest in investing in Africa. As we embark on this important dialogue, let us remember that the work we do here today, and also that we must continue to do after this conference, will shape our futures together. We can achieve results that benefit not only our nations, but the entire global community. Thank you for your dedication, your partnership, your vision, and I look forward to discussions and learning more about how the United States can do more to advance regional security and commercial ties.
U.S. Charges d'Affaires Joseph Sajosny. Earlier speaking was Defense Minister Geraldine George. And now to this development, residents of the blessed and own communities in Grand Basse County, Buchanan are crying out in frustration as the only road linking them to the rest of the city deteriorates rapidly thanks to the relative damage caused by heavy lodging company. With the rainy season in full swing, the one passable route has become nearly impassable, triggering a spark in transport fares from $50 Liberian dollar to a shocking $150 Liberian dollar to reach Monrovia Junction. Locals say this is crippling access to essential goods and daily activities. Community spokesperson Marcus Mizo blames lodging companies whose overloaded trucks are tearing through the fragile road, undoing all communities-led maintenance efforts. Vendors Priscilla Joal Kaye added that small businesses are taking a heavy hit as supplies can get in, leaving vendors and families struggling. Residents are now demanding swift intervention from Grand Basse County authorities, urging a ban on heavy trucks movement during the rainy season and immediate road repairs. What was once a lifeline for these communities has now turned into a nightmare, one that continues to deepen with every passing truck. The Grand Basse County The Grand Bassa County Scrap Community on Wednesday, August 6, 2025, released its full financial report and update on scrap sales from Asla Metal Liberia concession. During the committee's weekly press briefing in Buchanan, Grand Bassa County, Chairperson Bonte Lee disclosed that the amount of $23,752.1 United States dollars have been accumulated from the sales of latest 21 truckloads from July 28, 2025 to August 4, 2025. Chairman Lee explained that the fourth scrap sale involved 21 truckloads collected from the Asla Metal concession with a total weight of 339,310 kilograms, generating a sum of $23,752.10 United States dollars. And now, to draw down the curtain on this morning edition of K News, we take our foreign development, where Ghana's Minister of Defense and Environment have died in a military helicopter crash in the Central Ashanti region, along with 6 other people, a government spokesperson says. Defense Minister Edward Oman Bwama and Environment Science and Technology Minister Ibrahim Mutala Mohammed 50 were killed in the crash, which Chief of Staff Julius Debra described as a national tragedy. Earlier, the Ghana Armed Forces said the Z9 helicopter, which was carrying 3 crew and 5 passengers, had gone off the radar. It had been taken off from the capital Accra at 9:12 local time and GMT and was heading to the town of Obausi for an event to tackle illegal mining in the country. Well, on that note, we draw down the curtain on this morning edition of K News Essays. It's been a joint effort from our News and Current Affairs Department here at Cool 91.9. For and on behalf of the entire news team, my name is Benjamin Gabriel Keba. Good morning from Painesville.